How did TGN get 1 million YouTube gaming subscribers? Well, we've got the man right here today, Jonathan Moxness, who is there he is. What's up, man? All the way from Canada, full-time video production manager that grew TGN from 300,000 subscribers to 1.3 million on a channel that released over 5,000 videos and got 350 million views. And he's produced viral gaming videos that have generated millions of views and have received full industry-wide coverage on Kotaku, GameSpot, IGN. They've gone viral on Reddit. I've made videos about his videos before because they're freaking legendary. Jonathan Moxness is here.
Hey, thanks, Andrew. You always make me sound so cool. I appreciate it.
You actually are cool. He's so modest. He's so modest. We're going to talk to him today about how he's been full-time, a salaried full-time employee at a legit media company, creating gaming videos for a living for years, making good living doing it, doing content on a very successful channel. We're going to get into his secrets, tips, tricks, and everything he's going to teach you about how you can be more successful on YouTube. So I appreciate you jumping on the podcast today, man.
Happy to be here. Glad to be able to contribute and chat with you guys again.
I know. We all used to work together at Broadband TV, full disclosure. And I'm joined, as always, by my co-hosts, Andrew Perrin and Ross A. Dillon. Perrin, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to have Moxness here again. I haven't gotten to talk to him for quite a while and to relive some of the old TGN days together on a podcast.
Yeah.
For the first time for Moxness, I think, right? It's your first podcast go around. Awesome. You picked the right cast to be on. Just
I'm a podcast virgin, so go easy on me.
Oh, it's going to be really rough. Welcome to The Digital Drop, the #1 podcast for gaming creators where we help you make gaming content full-time like Jonathan Moxness has. It's interesting because I used to be the head of TGN. Andrew Perrin and Ross ran the social media avenues for TGN, and Jonathan Moxness ran that YouTube channel and really grew it. Before we get into the episode, interestingly enough, every single microphone that you hear on this podcast today is a Rode microphone. Even Jonathan Moxness, our guest, has a Rode Procaster up in Canada.
That is true.
What kind of mic are you using right now in the studio, man?
I'm using a Rode NT1A. That is what I have here. It's like a little studio condenser mic, and it's plugged into a Rodecaster Pro. I really love this board. So like legit, we used to have this other mixer that we spent a ridiculous amount of money on because we were like, this is gonna solve all of our mixing problems, and it just made so many more mixing problems for us. And then we got this Rodecaster Pro, and it's just been so easy. It's just like, yeah, go. There we go. So I really like this mixer.
Okay, Jonathan Moxness is not sponsored by Rode, by the way.
I am
but
not.
We are.
I am not.
So thank you for saying all of that, John. And actually, working in the studio with you, John, in Vancouver was how I kind of got turned on to Rode equipment. Remember we brought all those Procaster mics in the studio because one of the other employees was recording a podcast. And so when I was thinking, you know what, I'm doing my own podcast, I'm going to reach out to a potential sponsor. I already bought the Procaster because I had worked with the microphone in that studio. And then here we are. So all the vocals you hear during this episode have no extra post-production effects or enhancements or EQ or anything. This is all the raw sound of our Rode Procaster mics going through our Rodecaster mixers with onboard processing turned on. If you think we sound good, go to ProPodcastingGear.com and you can download our no strings attached free guide that contains our audio recommended equipment, or you can just browse the guide on the site. You don't even have to download it. There's no marketing BS, no credit card, no garbage, just great gear recommendations that we've actually used professionally, and it'll help you do what you love for a living. The better you sound, the more people will want to actually continue to watch your content. ProPodcastingGear.com, and thank you, Rode Microphones. So we built up John to be this super mega Canadian gaming content creator celebrity. So how did you score a full-time salary job? I'm talking with benefits and health insurance and an office and a studio and legit job here, a family man, supporting his family right now, creating gaming videos. How did that even happen, man?
The way I actually got the job was because of YouTube work that I had done. So I had been doing some YouTube, not gaming videos, but I was doing like action skit videos with a couple friends of mine, and and then I would help out some other creators. I helped out a guy that is local here in Vancouver, in Canada, as well, and he would do some more gaming stuff. He actually did a way back before there was an actual live action Pokemon movie. He did this live action Pokemon trailer that went like super viral, and I worked with him on like a couple of these projects after that. And anyways, he was the one who he got contacted for this job, but he couldn't do it because he had some other commitments, and he recommended me. And so that's kind of how I ended up getting the job in the first place. And it was more from an editing and visual effects standpoint. And then as I was kind of working on TGN, which was even Viso Games for a brief period of time when I started, it was there that I started doing more hosting of videos. I ended up doing some on-camera stuff, and then I started doing some more voiceover work, and I was still doing some editing, and then I kind of shifted from there, and now after years of this, so it's been like over 5 years that I've been doing this here, and now I kind of work with a bigger team. I work with guys who are in Portugal. I work with people who are in the United States, in the Eastern United States, and then one of our writers is based in LA as well. So there's kind of people from all over, and we're all just working remotely, and we all contribute to this, and it's a really fun time. That's kind of how I kind of got into it, I guess.
Yeah, so you started out as an editor. They discovered you on YouTube, which is really important for everybody to note. We talk about this on the podcast a lot, where creating content and just continuing to create content and putting it out there on social avenues and on YouTube can lead to job opportunities. That's how I got picked up by TGN in the early founding days of TGN. That's how I discovered Andrew Perrin and ended up bringing him on board with TGN. And that's how we ended up discovering Ross with the content he was releasing on Twitter. So for all of you creators out there that are like, I'm releasing videos and they're not getting tons of views, just because you aren't getting tons of views and tons of subs and what have you on your videos right now doesn't mean it can't lead to career opportunities down the road. So sticking with it opens up doors. I mean, your, what was it called, Action Playground videos? They weren't getting big views, right?
No, not really. Like we had, I didn't know anything about YouTube at the time when we were making those, so I was very much a noob at all of the YouTube techniques. So yeah, they didn't get a ton of views, but I was a couple of them got some decent views for a fairly small channel, right? Like nothing for like if you already had a big channel, but for a channel that didn't have very many uploads, we got some decent views on a couple of the videos. And but I think the bigger thing was I was working with other guys as well. So I was working on other projects with other people. And if you're doing that, then when that person, like it's not even necessarily that you have to get the recommendation from somebody because somebody likes your work. It's that it could be a friend of yours that is like getting, somebody wants to hire your friend and maybe they can't do it and they recommend you, right? So it's collaborating with different people is super important as well.
It's actually, I want to talk about that for a little bit more because I wanted to talk with you specifically about the pros and cons of making content alone versus that team environment, because you've got a lot of this experience from the team environment. Mm-hmm. But we do this podcast talking to, I think, a lot of creators who are potentially or possibly like doing this on their own, like in their house by themselves. They don't have anybody that they're collaborating with. Right. What are the differences there between trying to go at this yourself or working kind of with like a team of creators?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. So when I was first doing these Action Playground videos that Andrew was talking about, I was still working with some friends of mine when we were kind of planning the video and shooting the videos. But then all the post-production stuff, that was me all by myself, and then posting it was me. And it could be a long period of time, especially when we were doing some like visual effects heavy kind of action videos. So post-production wasn't necessarily like a day like it might be if you're just doing a gaming voiceover for like your kind of daily video game posts that you're going to have on your channel. It would take a lot more time. So there was a lot of time where I was kind of working by myself, and it can get it's tough to keep that motivation up sometimes. But I think one of the big pros when you have more control, so if it is just you, is you're very mobile for what you can do and what you want to do. So you might be able to make gaming videos that are very timely because you see some news and then you just go and make a video about it, and then you can post it, and then it's done. And if you're working with a team, there's going to be added time to all these different steps. So it might not be as fast to post those videos, and that can be super important for YouTube, especially if you're posting things about gaming news or you're talking about patch notes for the game that you constantly play. So I think if you're by yourself, you do get to do that timely content a little bit quicker. But if you have a team, then you can also kind of specialize in different areas. So you don't necessarily have to be the one who's doing I gotta write a script for the video, and then I gotta voice it, and then I gotta cut it all together, and then I gotta go I gotta go find clips and things, and then I gotta make a thumbnail for it, and then I gotta post it. You can have different people that are in charge of different things, and that can be really nice, and that can kind of save you from those things. Like if you don't like making thumbnails, or if you're not good at making thumbnails, having somebody else to make your thumbnails for you can be really beneficial. And I would also say, so since I work with a couple guys in Portugal, the time zone benefit can also be a big plus, because so if you're covering, let's say, a gaming convention. So I was at BlizzCon recently, and one of the nice things about having these guys in Portugal is that they're on an 8-hour time difference from me. So I can give them stuff at the end of my day, and they will have it ready at the beginning of my next day, instead of me having to stay up all night to get something done or to get something posted. Right, so that can be a kind of benefit if you're working with different people across different time zones. Now, it can also be a hindrance because having meetings can be a little bit difficult because our meetings are at the beginning of my day and at the end of their day. So those things can be a little bit tricky, but if you have people that are a bit more flexible, and my guys generally are pretty flexible, then it's not usually a problem.
Going back to what you said earlier about staying motivated, kind of tagging onto that, how do you stay motivated when you have to create Overwatch video after Overwatch video every single day?
That's a good question. How do you stay motivated creating videos about the same topic again and again and again?
How do you stay motivated when your boss tells you that your bonus and your raise is dependent on you making Overwatch videos and your family is counting on it? The boss is whipping you every day.
That's what happens so much when Andrew was my boss. Oh, man. What really helps is having a genuine interest in a game. So when you're trying to find your niche, because generally you should be searching for, like, if you're looking to cover a game or multiple games, like, you need to do a little bit of research, and you need to see if this game has some longevity, and if you have enough to stick with this game for a long period of time. Because sometimes you might play a game and you go like, oh yeah, this is a really fun game, but then after a week or 2 weeks, you're like, yeah, no, I'm done. This is not fun anymore. And it can be really tough. I know I've heard from creators before that just want to move away from the game that they cover on their channel, and they try, but they can't because their audience really wants them to play that one game, and that's what they want to see. So every time they try to do this other stuff, it's very tough. It doesn't perform nearly as well, and it makes a lot of sense. Like if you branch out, your content isn't going to perform as well as your regular day-to-day stuff that everybody knows you for and everybody comes to see your channel for. So if you're trying to kind of keep that motivation, I think being passionate about the game itself is a huge thing. So that was a big thing with Overwatch. I have to say, actually, Andrew probably knows this too, is the first time we played Overwatch, which was PAX East, I think.
It was PAX East like 2015, I think.
Yeah. I think it might have even been you that asked me if I was interested in the game. And at the time, I said no. I was like, nope, I'm not interested in this game. And of course, this was pre-beta for the game, right?
Yeah, this is when they were doing those alpha demo tests where you got to play one map, you got to see how smooth the game ran, and it was just, you didn't get any of the lore. It was just some gameplay, no trailers or any kind of razzle-dazzle either. It was just jump in this game, see how smooth it plays, and shoot people, and we'll tell you more about the universe later. But that was what triggered you, right, with this one. As soon as you started discovering the lore and you realized it wasn't just a PvP Team Fortress style shooter, you were like, oh.
Yeah, because I really wasn't a player of like FPS games. Then that was kind of a big turnoff for me at first. That plus when I played that alpha demo, I ended up playing like a couple of heroes that had really difficult to like hit detection with the way they were in that alpha. So I constantly thought I was hitting people, and then I was like running around and actually just like shooting like 1 foot away from them, so they always just got away, and then I just felt really crappy about myself after it. I'm like, wow, this game isn't fun. But yeah, it was after that. It kind of went, I think it might have even been before it went into beta. We got to play it. We got to actually play the game at Blizzard with some Blizzard devs, and I ended up
Blizzard dev. Jeff Cap was there playing with us for like 4 hours.
Jeff Kaplan. I remember because that was with Lucio. That was right before they released or announced Lucio, and we got to play Lucio right away. And that was one of the heroes that I connected with a lot more. So that was kind of another thing, was that like playing that game, the way that Blizzard has created that game, they release all these different characters that, okay, you don't need to be into an FPS shooter in order to connect with this character and be able to enjoy playing as such and such character. And so, yeah, I still talk about how I was very happy that I managed to boop Jeff Kaplan off the map during a match.
It was so fun. I mean, you want to talk about
Jeff Kaplan?
I booped Jeff Kaplan off.
Yes.
I think he got his revenge though. He did the same to me later. but yeah, to kind of bring it back to like the motivation of it, it helps when you have a game that is very successful, like Overwatch, that has all of this, all these different avenues that you can explore. So you could be a creator for. I'm going to talk about Overwatch specifically. You could be a creator for Overwatch, just talking about the meta and the changes, or you could be a streamer who is like got really high level gameplay, and you're trying to get into the Overwatch League, right? Or you can do kind of what I've been doing with my team on TGN, which is we're kind of looking at more of a community perspective, and we're looking at different things like this is what it's like to play these different mains, or here's a bunch of history and lore about the different characters, or here are different facts. And then and then kind of the more viral videos that Andrew was mentioning earlier are these like if Overwatch was another game. So we did if Overwatch were a fighting game, and if Overwatch were Dark Souls, and those were really cool to make, and so it allows you to kind of find this niche within a game, so you don't have to necessarily cover the thing that somebody else is doing for the game. And I think if you can figure that out, it definitely helps for coming up with these new ideas for videos day after day after day after day, and having a game that is constantly updating content, it helps a ton as well. Because every time we get a new hero, we get to do all these different videos that we've done before on all these other heroes, and it's interesting for us, and it's interesting for the community and the audience that's watching our videos. So that definitely helps with staying motivated there, and just trying new things, keeping some ideas like that are really interesting to you as a creator. Like, so these if Overwatch were XYZ videos that we do, we're working on one now that is it's an if I'm going to tell you what it is. It's if Overwatch were Metal Gear. It's a lot of fun to make. We've spent way too long making it, but it's really fun, and kind of that kind of can keep me going, keep me motivated, even if we're working on other videos that maybe I'm less excited about, right? And I think also just seeing things from your audience's perspective, like when you see that a video does well, it's got a lot of views or it's got a lot of watch time, that can be motivation as well. That can be something that kind of gets you going and going like, oh, okay, people really like this. What else can we do that's sort of similar? Like we did a video that was kind of unusual for us a little while ago. That was a bunch of us just playing this custom game that we were trying to create. And then we, one of the guys was animating a bunch of our little chibi avatars on the screen, kind of as we're all talking. And it was a departure from our more, say, scripted list style videos that we would do. And it was just more of our personalities, and we're just like hanging out and playing this game. And a lot of the audience really kind of connected with that and enjoyed it, and they let us know in the comments that they were really enjoying it. So that can be motivation as well, because now we're gonna go and we're gonna try a bunch of different other ideas for just gameplay and playing around there.
That was really good motivation, and just stuff that even I didn't know or didn't look at there. I think always trying something new is key. I know that's something we even wrote into our strategy on the social media side that helps out too. With that advice already, would you have 3 more tips, or like 3 kind of top tips in general that you would give as advice to gaming creators that want to grow on YouTube?
I would say another tip is, especially if you're doing YouTube, your video is a combination of your topic, your title, and your thumbnail. And it's not just any one of those things. I think a big thing that is usually fairly easy to notice with smaller creators or creators who are just starting out, especially if you're focused on the video side of things, is that the thumbnail and title side usually gets left behind a little bit. And it's something that you have to focus on. And so if you don't like doing it, find somebody who does like doing it, or just figure out the way that you need to be doing your titles and thumbnails, because they are very important. Even YouTube itself, like I was looking at a video today, and the analytics, it gives you a little pop-up now in the studio beta that tells you like, oh, your video is performing really well, or it's underperforming compared to your past videos. And so I got this one that was like, yeah, your video is doing really well compared to your other videos. This means that people are very interested in your topic, title, or thumbnail. So even YouTube itself like tells you that it's these three things. It could be one of those three things that people are interested in, but those are the three important things that you have to do. And so you always want to kind of consider that when you're making your video, especially if you get to the end and you realize like, I don't know what to do for a thumbnail, or I don't know what to do for a title. It's like, well, next time, figure that out when you're figuring out your topic, because it's going to help keep you more focused, and you're going to end up with a better product that more people are going to click on in the end, right?
So you're saying figure out your topic and title and thumbnail in pre-production before you record if you can, and then the production and post-production and release and everything will go much more smoothly, and there's a higher likelihood of success.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely putting thought, even if you don't necessarily figure out all of the details of it, but you have an idea of where it's going to go, that'll help a lot. With something like, if Overwatch was a fighting game, I didn't know what the thumbnail was going to be right away, but I knew that the title was a strong title and the topic was a strong topic, and I was pretty confident that we could actually create a thumbnail that played into that topic, that was easy to communicate what the video was about. And that video worked really well. Everybody, like, that was one that got picked up by all these different gaming news outlets when we released it. So it's not that you have to create, like, you don't have to create the thumbnail at the get-go, but you should have an idea of what it's going to be, or at least something, and it should excite you enough that you would want to click on it, because if you want to click on it, probably somebody else wants to click on it as well, right? But if you don't want to click on it, then there might be a problem there, and you might need to kind of rework your stuff. And if you can't actually think of any, like, I don't know what the thumbnail would be for this, or I don't know what the title would be for this video, it's like, well, then maybe your video needs to be more focused, more specialized. And I guess that would probably be the third sort of thing that I would recommend to people, is to find the thing that you're going to specialize in. And that's generally, like, if we're talking gaming creators, that's the game that you're covering. But it can also even be more specialized. It can be like, what about that game that you're covering? Like, what is the type of content around that game that you're making? And you can experiment with stuff, and you constantly should be experimenting with things. But generally that's going to be kind of your bread and butter for your channel. So don't try and spread yourself too thin. Don't look at a bunch of people and go like, oh, well, these guys make a bunch of like GTA videos and that's really successful, and these guys make Minecraft videos and that's really successful. Actually, Minecraft, like, you might want to think twice about Minecraft because of the whole COPA stuff coming in January, but that's a whole other discussion.
Yikes. Yeah.
Yeah. But like don't think that, like, oh, there's all these different successful channels, so I'm just going to cover all of this stuff. Because it can be very difficult. Like, we used to cover a broader spectrum of games on TGN. And one of the difficulties is just like keeping up with that. And some people do it. For some people, that's their thing. Like, people who do game reviews, like, if you're good at reviewing games and you play a lot of games and you're going to do that on a regular basis, then great. Like, that can be your thing. That was something that I wasn't able to do well. I wasn't playing enough games to be able to like accurately discuss a whole lot of different video games. I knew enough because I was like keeping up on like the general like gaming news, but I didn't play enough of those games. So it was really helpful when we found a game that I could kind of more specialize in, more focus in, and really like double down on and go deeper into that one game. So I felt a lot more comfortable creating the content. But yeah, if you know that your skill lies in this one thing, and that happens to deal with multiple games, then great. But then it's that one thing that's your niche. It's not the game, right? So if you're a game reviewer, you're a reviewer. You're going to be doing game reviews. And you're probably not going to be doing much else about these other games unless you kind of grow and you expand and you get a bigger team, because at some point it's just going to be like capacity. You're just not going to be able to actually like pump out enough content with a bunch of different formats. So yeah, just sort of focusing in on one thing to start. That's something that I think a lot of like beginning creators could benefit from.
Where can people find you and follow you on social media, John?
So I do have Twitter at Jonathan Moxness. That's JONATHANMOXNESS. It's funny, like with Jonathan Moxes, everybody gets the Moxness part spelled correctly, but Jonathan is always misspelled. But also, I'm on TGN on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, look up TGN, and we got a whole bunch of Overwatch videos. And so I'm there. I'm voicing different videos. I was voicing a video right before coming on this podcast.
If you guys want to see a machine that is well-oiled, is running efficiently, is profitable, and has been supporting content creators and helping them do what they love for a living, editors, writers, even full-time salary people like John for years, nearly 10 years now, go look at TGN. Go look at what John has put together. Go look at the engine that he's running there. If you want to look at like what end game could look like for your channel, or get some ideas for how you could expand or how you could turn your channel or your gaming content creation into a proper business and into something that can be really sustainable and weather the storm, that channel is that. We saw all of our competitors from the early days of gaming on YouTube go out of business or stop making content, basically. The only ones still around is IGN. Everybody else died or went away, or their channel was abandoned, and TGN's still standing. So go check out those best practices, those thumbnails, those edits, all of the things that John is talking about. He practices on that channel every single day. So check out TGN. That's great. Thank you so much for being on our podcast, John. We really appreciate it, Moxness. Gaming super celebrity from Canada. I can't believe we got you on the show. Huge score.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me here. It was fun.
We love you, buddy, man. We've always enjoyed working with you over the years. And thank you to our audience for listening to the Digital Drop Podcast. We encourage you to subscribe on the podcasting platform of your choice so you don't miss our weekly episodes. And if there was one nugget that Jonathan shared in this episode today that helped, subscribe right now to the podcast. It could be that one thing that changes your trajectory. Listen to what John had to say about thumbnail plus title plus topic. Don't leave any of those three things out. It's something to live your life by. Your marriage, how you parent your children, how you approach your... Okay, I'm going a little too far. Good luck, creators.